Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
Hour 2 is brought to you in part by our friends at Seat Giant. They charge Canadian prices for U.S. sporting events, Canadian-owned and operated with Canadians in mind. Use the promo code RPShow for 15% off now. Check them out at seatgiant.ca. Well, the last I checked, the Toronto Argos are Grey Cup champions. How could I forget? Hoagie reminds us like every second day. The voice of the Argos joins us. What's going on, Mike? Oh, yeah, there you go. There you go. Doesn't get old. Doesn't get old, does it, pal?
I wear it because 8 other fan bases wish they could.
You woke up and chose violence today.
No, not violence at all. I mean, we're fortunate enough to be in the situation because I'm sure, fans of every team across the country, if they were lucky enough to win a Grey Cup and fortunate enough, then they'd take advantage of it. So the opportunity has come around 19 times since the early 1900s. So I'll take advantage of it.
What have you been in that role for 3?
No, since 2018. So it's been a while.
No. How many rings? Sorry, I thought you were there in 2017 when they won. How many championships since you've been there?
4 as a play-by-play guy, 2 of those as an employee of the team. So have won 2 and have been awarded 2, if that makes any sense.
How about that? Okay, well, listen, before we get back around to the football talk, I want to say happy opening day. You've spent so many years in the Toronto media. This has to have, and you're a Canadian, this has to have some special for you. Jays and Orioles today?
You know what? It used to. When I grew up, I was baseball first, second, and third. Like, those are my sports. Loved everything else, but I was baseball guy. I was Expos guy. Baseball lost me to a large extent when they stole the Expos. And after 25 years of talking about the Blue Jays and the Leafs and the Raptors and the Argos and everybody every day, I needed to cleanse the palate. So I don't watch very much. I watch CFL, NFL, some college football, little golf. Watch the Raptors. But other than that, my sports diet has been cut down substantially.
Well, that's the one thing that the leagues really need to be wary of is the choice that's out there now. It's not like it used to be. And speaking of all that, I've spent some time here in South Florida with Curtis Pride. I'm announcing a baseball team, which his son is on, Colton. Yeah. So we had this chat last week, and he said how much he enjoyed his time. Major League Baseball's first ever deaf player, and he did 2 stints there in Montreal. And he said, I hope MLB comes back. And I didn't want to spoil his dream, Mike. It's not happening, is it?
I don't know. Maybe the setback in Tampa down your way opens that door as slim as that opening might be. The best line I heard about Tampa and Montreal sort of combining to split home games was from the great Bill Lee. And I asked the spaceman about that, and he said, I got the perfect name for them. You can call them the X-Rays.
How about that?
Expos,
That's good. That's
Tampa
good.
Rays, the X-Rays.
That's
and
really
for those, the Curtis Pride story, one of the most memorable moments in Expos history. And think about all the great players, the Hall of Fame players that they had. Curtis Pride's first major league hit was a double. And as he was standing on second base, and as you mentioned, he's deaf, the standing ovation that he got from Expos fans was at least, and I'm not prone to hyperbole, it was at least 3 minutes. It was crazy, standing, loud, and the ironic thing is he couldn't hear it. He could see it, he could feel the vibrations, but he couldn't hear the standing ovation. I'm sure that's on YouTube somewhere. Go up and look up Curtis Pride's first major league hit, and if it doesn't bring a tear to your eye, you're not human.
Well, and to add on to that, he is a unbelievably nice man. Wow. And his wife, Lisa, is an announcer, a baseball announcer, so we're working together in the booth. It's a real nice thing. Okay, here come all the Argo fans. Craig Campbell writes in. Craig Campbell from the Hockey Hall of Fame. He says, Argos. Scott in Vancouver says, are we allowed to talk gridiron football now? You absolutely are. If I don't hog up all of Hoagie's time with my questions. And here's the number one that came into my mind when you came on the air, Hoagie. Everywhere I go, because I wear CFL stuff down here in South Florida, invariably somebody says, Toronto Argonauts. People might think it is another team that is on people's lips, but it's not. It's the Argonauts. What are some stories of you traveling outside of Canada where you've been recognized with that logo?
I was in New Orleans a couple of years ago and was walking downtown, and a guy came up and he looked at my logo. He goes, Pinball Clemens. I love that guy. And he was from Louisiana.
Yeah.
I don't know how he found out about Mike Clemens because Mike is omnipresent, but he went up. I had a little bit of a chat with him, and he was from New Orleans, but knew the logo and said, like, you guys had other, like Ricky Williams went up there, right? So, which was a New Orleans connection for him. So, yeah, it's just stuff like that. It's not unusual if I've got a crest on or wearing a hat or something. Somebody will either nod to me or go Argos or something like that. But that actually brought up a little bit of a conversation.
Yes. Like I said, it's the way they say it here. It's Toronto Argonauts. I just turned. What do you want me to say? Well, I'll tell you what. Pinball was a superstar. And Paul in Humboldt writes in and he says, who would Mike Hogan pick as a superstar in the CFL to refute Ed Hervey? You got thoughts on Mr. Ed's comments?
I think we have, I'm not going to comment on what Ed said, but I think we have at least two. Chad Kelly would be one. Wint McManus would be one. I don't know by what definition you use superstar, but they are superstars in the CFL. I don't think there's any question about that. And we're really happy to have both of them on our team, and we're waiting to see who that next one's going to be.
Good answer. Rich in Edmonton writes in, he says, I was in the Irish countryside, and someone noticed my double EE logo. Granted, it happened to be Calgary Herald writer Eric Duhatschek, but still. Yeah, okay. Well, I always say, wear your stuff. And I should say congratulations to Eric Duhatschek, who just announced on social media that he tied the knot the other day. Saw that on his social media.
Good for him.
Yeah. Colin in Ottawa writes in and says, what so many CFL fans don't realize. Are you noticing where these viewers are from, by the way? What did I say? Humboldt, Ottawa, Edmonton. Hockey Hall of Fame, Craig Campbell. Anyways.
Hi, Craig.
Colin in Ottawa says, what so many CFL fans don't realize is that the Argos have such an advantage in that they have the best offensive play caller in three-down football, Ryan Dinwiddie. It doesn't matter who they lose in free agency. Please address.
Ryan's really smart. There's no question about that. And, when Chad Kelly went down in the Eastern Final, there was, as much of a loss as that was from a talent perspective, because Chad's fantastic. There wasn't a person on the team that didn't doubt that Nick Arbuckle could pull off what Ryan devised for him, because Ryan would have the game plan in place. And everybody knew that Nick could execute it. So, Ryan is remarkable. The 4 years, first year, won the East. Second year, won the East, won the Grey Cup. Third year, 16-2 record, won the East. Last year, without a starting quarterback for half the season, with no disrespect to Nick or Cam Dukes, but without QB1, brought the team a home playoff berth, won the Eastern Final, won the Grey Cup. So it's pretty good. He has the best record of any coach post-World War II.
Winning percentage-wise, you mean?
Yeah, winning percentage, yeah.
Yeah. Well, as you know, Mike, as you're working for a team now, and you've been in the media a long time, you need to reward your longtime fans and listeners and viewers. So Jeff the Stamps fan, I'll pass this along. He says, Jeff the Stamps fan, did you catch that? He says, my message to the Argos, you're welcome. Because he feels you guys rated their team. How would you address that?
No, sure, absolutely. The Stampeders were the best team, the best organization in the league for a couple of decades, where they kept bringing guys in. The opportunity to hire Ryan Dinwiddie was there. So even though most people said you can't be a head coach unless you've been a coordinator for a long time, Pinball Clemens had the interview, and his theory was, why should we wait for somebody else to develop them when we can have them now? Let him make maybe a couple of mistakes in the first year, but we see what he can be long term, or at least Pinball could. he brought some guys with him that he was comfortable with in the coaching staff from Calgary. And, Pete Costanza had gone to Winnipeg subsequent to Calgary, brought him in, brought in some players, obviously. And now it's our turn where teams are coming after us. They might not be superstars, but Ed Hervey certainly liked our lineup last year. He went and he took most of them from the defensive line. That's what happens. We've lost coordinators the last 2 years. Corey Mace, who came from Calgary, went to Saskatchewan. Will Fields, last year one of the co-defensive coordinators, goes to Ottawa. So yeah, it's a pipeline, and when you experience success, you're going to be rated. And now it's our turn. So yeah, it is what it is. But to the Calgary fan, thank you. For helping us get off the ground. But again, those players and coaches didn't have to come to Toronto. They could have gone anywhere else, but opted to come to the Argonauts.
Yeah, well, you got something great going on there, which I will. Ted in Red Deer writes in and he says, pinball is loved everywhere by everyone, in my opinion. Oh, there's no two ways about that, for sure. But here's the thing, Hoagie. That my grandpa used to bounce me on his knee and listen to you on the radio. That's how long I've been listening to you.
Yeah.
Didn't we have a joke about that at Grey Cup? Something about that?
Yeah, I used that one on you and you just stole it. So there you go.
Yes, I stole it. It was Hoagie's
You're
line.
stealing from the best,
but
though.
anyway,
what can I say?
We just talked about that. I rated your lines because they work. So, anyways, when Dinwiddie was hired at 38, I heard the same things you did. But think about this with the critics. Consider the source. You guys don't have any idea what this guy's about. We had him in Sask for like 1 day as a player, not that long. I could tell in 5 minutes this guy has it. I don't care how old he is or what his resume is. He is it. And Moose shared a flight with him out to the Combine last week from Toronto to Regina, and he called me right after. He's like, I can't believe what a great guy he is. I'm like, why would you think he isn't? What is it? Like, unless you know him, consider the source. Mike, I knew from day one he was going to be successful, and I'm sure you did too.
Yeah, well, I didn't. I'll be honest, because I didn't know him at all. When guys come in, some of them have that little je ne sais quoi, right? Like Corey Mace, we knew we were renting, right? He was going to be a head coach very soon in the league. He's got that big personality. I think one of the, aside from the football acumen that Ryan obviously has, I think the one thing, and maybe it'll surprise some people, maybe it won't, because you see how animated he can get on the sidelines when something doesn't go the Argos' way. He wears his heart on his sleeve. He can get pretty emotional. And I think that buys in. The players know that he is absolutely invested in what this organization is doing. When he's happy, you know it. He's very, very quick to credit other people. And if something moves him, he'll let you know about it. And I think that goes a long way that people say, hey, this guy's legit. Not only is he going to help make me a better player on the field, coaches know that he's going to help make them better coaches. But he's earned the respect of everybody in the organization. It wasn't handed to him, but I think it was a big head start when you realize that pinball picked him as opposed to the handful of other guys who were probably finalists for the job.
Well, do you spend any time thinking about this like I have? For instance, this is a nod to how the players have changed, because in yours and my era, earlier on as fans, before we got into our roles in the CFL, it was, for a long time, the Dave Ritchies, Rod Rusts, even Ken Millers, white-haired guys in their 60s. All of them. Wally. And those guys aren't around anymore. Bob Dice is the oldest coach, and he's still in his 50s. It's different. Have you noticed? It's the players have changed, the coaches have changed. That's my observation. What do you think about that?
I think players can relate to maybe a younger coach better than they can to somebody your age. I thought I'd get the dig in while I could. But I think there's something to that. I saw Paul LaPolice say something the other day that made a lot of sense. He said, I don't think players care where you come from or how old you are, or whether you played in the NFL or the CFL or didn't play the sport at all. If you're making sense and you can make them be better, they'll listen to you, right? Like Lapo had a hell of a run as a coordinator. He played, where did he play? New Hampshire and RPI.
Yep.
So, I mean, he didn't have that huge background where he's coming from a D1 player, never played pro, but he can coach. Ryan Dinwiddie had a really good career in college football. I hate the term journeyman, but in the CFL, that's what he was. He wasn't Doug Flutie, but he's earned the respect of people. So, the fact that he played and he's maybe a little bit younger maybe helps with some players. For the most part, I really don't think it matters as long as you can help them. If Ryan Dinwiddie was 80 years old and still is at that age is as good as he is now, people are going to listen to him.
They want to know, can you help me get better? Can you help me get to where I want to go? Lapo's right. But
exactly.
By the way, Doug Flutie's never coached today. Damon Allen has tried, didn't last, right? Dinwiddie just has his own special je ne sais quoi. Well, we're out of time, Mike. I appreciate you jumping on. It's always fun, my man. I'm sure it's probably time for your nap. So, thanks.
How about that?
Let's do it again soon. Argos.
Thank you.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you. Mike Hogan, the voice, 4-time Grey Cup champion, voice of the Toronto Argonauts. We'll be back with sports headline and headlines. Sorry, I'm all hopped up on cold medication today if I don't sound myself. We'll be right back here on Game Plus TV, streaming live and podcasting wherever the best podcasts are found.